Hello, and welcome to another live stream on this wonderful Wednesday. If you're new to this, we're going to help you improve your English and hopefully give you some information and English vocabulary, expressions, etc., so that you can be more fluent and improve your listening comprehension. And with me, I'm pleased to introduce Lynn from putitlikethis.com. Hi, Lynn.
All right. Hi, Craig. Yeah, it's a very enthusiastic start. So how are you? Are you okay?
I'm very well, thank you.
Today?
I'm really
You
excited to be
seem to be
talking
very
about this week's
excited.
topic. I am. I
Yeah.
love doing this. I'm really enthusiastic to be
That's
talking
great.
about this. Lynn, before we get started on this week's topic, why don't you tell people who are new to this live stream what you do at putitlikethis.com?
All right, thank you. So putitlikethis.com is my website, and I'm an online teacher, exclusively online teaching really now, and I'm trying to help people find their own voice in English. So I don't do standardized courses. What I do is I find out what your needs are in English and what purposes, what kind of voice in English you want to find, and then I make a course for you. So it's all about tailor making courses. And people have lots of different needs. So some people are like the traditional ones that they want to prepare for a specific exam, but sometimes people are having to present things to people in English, or sometimes teachers are having to teach their subject matter in English, but they're actually not teaching English, they're teaching history in English, for example. So I have all sorts of different people, and of course business people doing business English. But if you go to my website, you'll see all the types of things that I do.
Yeah, if you want more information, go to putitlikethis.com, and also there are Lynn's contact details on her website. And if you've never seen me before, my name's Craig, and I write material for mansioningles.com, where you can find courses for free, lots of material, listenings. There's a 2-weekly newsletter that you can sign up for and receive free in your inbox every 2 weeks. And we also have a podcast. We have a podcast, but I totally forgot that I wanted to mention today, if you're studying for the B2 First Cambridge exam, I have a course that's at English, masterclass.net. So if you are studying for the exam and you want a course that will prepare you properly to take the exam, go over to the website englishmasterclass.net, and you'll find more information there on what the course is about. So B2 first, only for B2 first. But this week, Lynn, we are speaking about words and expressions we like and dislike.
Yeah, so this week, we've been a little bit selfish, because usually when we choose the topics, we think a lot about you guys, and we think, what kind of English is useful for you, what might you really like. But today we thought we'd just share with you our love of English and our dislike of English, because we have some words that we really love in English, and we have some words that we hate in English. And I think maybe you're the same, maybe you, the listeners, maybe you're the same in your own native languages, that you have words in your own native language that you love and words that you hate. And it's been quite interesting, because Craig and I made our lists of words that we like or dislike. And especially for the dislike ones, I was thinking, why do I hate those words? And I've got some very interesting reasons. I've been able to think about that.
Me too, yeah. And that also takes us to the question, how do you learn new words? Because if you're reading a book or you're listening to a podcast or the news, you hear lots of new words. And how do you choose which words to learn? How do you record or write down or put in one place new words so that you can improve your vocabulary? But before we answer that question and ask your opinion, let's say hi to people who are joining us. We've got Heidi from Buenos Aires, Argentina. Hello to you. Norma is with us. Isma, nice to see you too. And Gemma Are you all right? Yes, I am all right. I hope you're all right too, Gemma. Thanks for joining us again. Isma and Fabiana. And who else is here?
Norma is back again.
Francisca.
She comes quite regularly too, Norma. And we have 2 Normas today. Yeah.
And Arturo.
And Arturo.
From
Okay.
Honduras. Hello to you,
Okay.
Arturo. Thank you very much for being here.
Right.
So, how do you learn new words? And what I often say to my students, and I don't know if you agree, Lynn, but it's really difficult to write down and make a note of every single word in English or every single expression that's new. I think, well, when I learned Spanish, for me, I tended to write down words and expressions that I liked, that attracted my attention, that aroused my curiosity, words that sounded nice or words that I liked the meaning of. And I was very, very selective in words that I decided to learn. And that made me, I think, learn them easier. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I think I do and I don't. I do and I don't. I think in my language learning, because I've also learned other languages, I speak Spanish and German and French. And I think when I started learning languages, of course, at school, I wrote the words down that my teacher gave me. So the teachers used to give you a list and you put them in a vocabulary book and you put like the foreign language on one side, the English translation on the other.
These are the words today. Learn them.
Exactly, learn them.
No
and then
choice.
you used to take a little page and you used to test yourself. I think that's how I started learning the first foreign language. Yeah, so it was what my teacher gave me. But it's true that when I went to learn the second foreign language, which was in my case German, I was actually living in Germany, so I had this necessity to be able to speak the language. And then I was much more selective. So then I made a note of the words that I needed. So when I was trying to express myself and I could get assistance from somebody to tell me the German word for I want to say this, then I would make a note of it, or I would try to remember it. Sometimes I attach funny, in order to help me remember things, I attach funny sounds, or if it sounds funny or I think it sounds like that, I make relationships to try to help me remember things, yeah? Or I make an image in my head to imagine what the word is. And like I have images in my memory to help me remember certain words, and also audio memory of it. But with many of my students, so I kind of encourage my students to be selective about the vocabulary that they use. And I don't give lists to my students of words. I encourage them to be selective. So, for example, when we do online classes, when they're talking to me, I tend to I give them vocabulary they need by writing it in the chat file. But I tell them after the lesson, go through the chat file and only select the words that you think you might use again in the future.
Exactly.
Yeah. Because obviously you can't remember lots of them.
But you said something very interesting when you were learning German. You said that you sometimes asked how to say something in German. So maybe it's a bit of a stretch. Maybe it's not exactly accurate, but if you want to call it active and passive vocabulary, there's what I mean is there's the kind of vocabulary that you find when you're reading a text and you see a word and the word is in the text and you don't know what it means. So maybe you check it. It's been given to you. It's been presented to you. And then there's what you said where you say, well, how do I say this in German? Or how do I say this in English? So you want to express something and you need the words and the grammar maybe to say it. So you need that. You're asking for it. It hasn't been given to you. So there's two ways of looking at it, maybe.
And also there's another thing about passive vocabulary is you have to remember that you haven't got to stress about things. Right? You have to chill and have a bit of, zen, because the way that you learn your native language is that as a child, you learn to read, and then you start reading texts that are more difficult than your actual level. So you start to see words that you don't understand. But when you're a child, you don't go to the dictionary and say, what does this mean? What does this mean? You don't stop for every single word. If you think you're understanding the general idea, you let it go. You've seen it, but you've recognized it in context. You haven't really got an exact sense of the meaning, but you let it go because it's not natural. It's not necessary. And that, I think, is a very good instinct, because when you're learning a language, for example, now listening to Craig and I, you're going to hear lots of words that maybe if I stop and I say, what does that mean? Maybe you don't know, but in the context, you're hearing it. And maybe in the future, you'll hear the word again, and you'll hear the word again. And you need to hear the words often like 10 or 11 or 12 times. And then your brain, without you realizing it, starts to understand what the word means.
Or you get curious. You get curious and you look it up.
Exactly. If you really can't figure it out, you get curious and go and check it. But what often happens without you realizing is that your brain is already beginning to add it without you being consciously aware that you're adding it. And that's the natural way to learn language. That's the way you learn your native language. And it happens when you learn a second language if you have a lot of exposure to the language. Now, a lot of you guys are actually not living in English-speaking countries. But of course, now with internet, many of you listen to us regularly. And if you can listen to English every single day, you're increasing your exposure to language, and it makes language learning easier and also vocabulary learning easier, I think. Yeah,
yep,
do you agree?
Absolutely, 100%. Hello to Katia, who's joining us from Costa Rica. Ana Belen from Valencia. Hi, Anna. Maykol from Nicaragua. And Isabel from Galicia in the north of Spain. And Jose Antonio from Cadiz. Lots of people joining us live. And thank you if you're watching the replay. We want to say hello to you if you're watching the replay, either on Facebook or YouTube. And we appreciate you taking the time to spend with us. And we hope you'll be learning some new words today. So what we've done here is Lynn and I have chosen 10 words that we like each and 10 words that we dislike. And we will introduce the words and say why. And the idea is, apart from you learning new words and new vocabulary, is we hope when you come across is a phrasal verb which means to find by accident or to see. When you come across words that are new for you, we hope that you will think, was that a word that I want to learn? Shall I write that down? Is that interesting to me? Am I curious about that expression? So that you're thinking about new expressions and new vocabulary that you are learning to improve your English. So let's get started. First, words we like. So it's me first. So these are words that Lynn and I both like, and we'd explain.
No, I'm not. I might not like your words, but I like.
No, I might not like your words, but like we can say if we like or dislike them. And if you like these words or dislike these words, please let us know in the chat. Write your comments so that we can include you in the conversation. My first word is bubble. And I like saying that word. It just a bubble. It fills my mouth. Bubble. And bubbles are nice. You get bubbles in coffee. You get bubbles when you're a kid, when you're a child. You play with bubbles. You can have a bath with bubbles. There's a bubble bath. and I just like the sound of the word. I'm very aware of how words sound and how they come out of my mouth. And I don't know if you're the same, but
I
I
am
think
too with that.
it just gives me pleasure to say the word
Bubble.
bubble.
But it's
Bubble.
not so easy
Bubbling,
for
a bubbling brook, a bubbling
uh-huh,
stream, a bubbling
uh-huh.
river. It's nice.
And you can have a bubbly personality as well, which means that you're sort of got lots of anything. Well, you've got a bubbly personality, Craig.
Thank you.
You're very sort
So
of
have you. You're very bubbly.
light-hearted, and you've always got something to say. And bubbling also it's what water does. In case there's somebody who doesn't know what the word, when water boils and you get these little air bubbles, bubble, 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 bubble. So that is bubble. And I think it's a bit tricky sometimes for non-native to say that word, because the U, it's not O, it's so
open the mouth.
bubble, bubble. Bubble. And then the other difficulty is you've got the B and two B's and an L, and of course it's a consonant cluster. But in actual fact, we put a vowel in between. You don't see it, but we say bull. So bub, bubble,
Bubble.
bubble.
What does Eva say? Babble. No, come on, Eva, say it with me. Bubble.
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 Eva has a bubbling personality. I know Eva. She's got a bubbling personality.
Yeah, she's got a bubbling personality.
Yeah. So
yeah, I like bubble. I like bubble.
What you like bubble? Okay.
I like bubble. I'll give you a thumbs up for bubble.
Thumbs up for bubble. Your first word that you like, Lynn, is compassion. Why?
Compassion. I don't know. I like the word passion, because I like the idea of passion. Passion.
Are you passionate?
Passionate. I think I am. Yeah, I'm a passionate person. A passionate person is somebody who has a lot of emotion about things. They don't do things by halves. I don't know. Do you know? You've heard of that expression? To do things by halves is when you don't put all of your energy into something, then you're not very passionate. But if you're passionate, you put all of your energy into something. But I love this word because I like the word com. And because I've learned foreign languages, I know that com means with. Of course, English people don't know that com means with, but if you have learned any other Latin languages, then you know that com means with. And when I look at that word, I think it's just so nice to say that, because compassion means that you feel the suffering of others and you try to help those other people, right? You feel, because really passion, the origin of the word passion is actually suffering. It comes from I looked it up on the etymology, and passion the first uses of passion is to do with Christianity. It's the idea of the suffering of Christ on the cross. That sometimes you talk about passion plays, and they talk in religion about the passion. So passion is actually suffering.
Doesn't compassion mean having the sympathy for suffering?
It does. It has sympathy for suffering. So it's having the understanding that you're suffering with other people. You're understanding their suffering. I don't know. I think it's such a complex word, and it's such a complex feeling, isn't it? Compassion. And it's a lovely human attribute, people who are compassionate. So I like that word.
Me too. I'm going to give that word the thumbs up as well. I think it's a lovely word. And obviously the adjective compassionate and compassion is the noun. My second word is a word that you probably know. It's sunny. Sunny. The adjective sunny. Sun is the noun, but sunny, for me, it's a bright, happy, positive word. I mean, everybody likes a sunny day, right? And you can have a sunny personality. It's very positive. Sunshine is another word I really like. Anything connected to sun for me is brightness and happiness and light and good. So I just like the word sunny.
Maybe you like it because it's got the same vowel sound as bubble. Sunny, bubble.
Sunny, bubble.
The U
Maybe.
is the sound, the beginning.
Yeah. Can you have a sunny
and
bubble?
Sunny, but no, you can't have a sunny bubble.
You can't have a sunny bubble. No, it's a shame.
Hema says she likes the word sunrise. Yes, I like that one too. I like sunrise. It's very hopeful, the word sunrise, because you think of the sun rising, don't you?
Well, actually, I won't say, but I've got an opposite word to that later. My third word, but we'll come to that in a second, which is the opposite to sunrise. And Elizabeth says, compassion for the people who are in war. Yes, of
absolutely.
course. Yeah.
I think lots of people in the world now have a lot of compassion for the people who are suffering in the war at the moment in Ukraine. Yeah, definitely.
Exactly. Yeah. And Hema says, yeah, for me, sunrise. Yeah, bubble and squeak. Do you know what that is?
That's well, I don't know. I don't actually know what it's made of, but it's something to eat, isn't it? It's a London dish, isn't it?
It is, and I'll explain what it is. I have eaten it before, and it's when you have a meal, for example, a roast dinner, and you have a roast chicken or roast beef or whatever, and you have the roast potatoes and the vegetables. Usually there's so much food that you don't eat all of it. And we have what's called leftovers, the food that is left over.
I know what it is now. Yeah.
You don't throw it away. You keep it, put it in the fridge. The next day you can make bubble and squeak, which is putting everything together, mixing it up, putting it in the oven.
In the frying pan, or do you put it in the oven?
I'm not sure because I don't cook. But if I remember, my mum, I think, used to put it in the oven.
Okay.
So there was like all the vegetables, the cauliflower, the broccoli, the potatoes, the parsnips, everything together with the meat that was left over. And it used to cook in the oven, and we'd eat everything the next day in a mixture.
Because in the north, we have fry up, which I thought was maybe bubble and squeak because it was all the Sunday dinner. But afterwards, you stuck it in the frying pan with some oil and you just fried it all together. Yeah, but I don't know. I'm not sure. I've never had bubble and squeak.
And of course, if you have chips left over, if you don't eat all of the chips, you can put them in the fridge, and that's what Scottish people call a salad.
What? What did you just say?
That's a joke.
That's a joke.
I hope there's no Scottish people listening. Okay, your second word.
You have to say something. Isn't that a nice word? Say, isn't that a nice word, Lynn?
Isn't that a nice word, Lynn?
Absolutely.
Do you like that word, Lynn?
I love the word, absolutely. But I like it when you use it to mean I agree with you. Yeah. So, and it's an alternative to say I agree. So, for example, if Craig says, oh, that was brilliant, and I say, absolutely. So I love that sort of, I think it's a very affirmative word when you say, yes, you're right. And it kind of, I like it because it binds you to the other person. Like you're on the same wavelength when you say, absolutely.
Oh, really? It needs an exclamation mark, like I've put
exclamation
there, right?
Mark, thank you.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
But notice the way Lynn's saying it. Notice her intonation. If I say, it was a lovely day today, wasn't it, Lynn?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So we've got absolutely. We've got 4 syllables there. Absolutely. Absolutely. So it's the third syllable that has the stress. Absolutely.
And we often put that as an adverb before adjectives that are extreme. So you could say, like, for example, the verb, the adjective brilliant is what we call in grammar, we say it's an extreme adjective because you can't have anything better than brilliant. It's brilliant, right? And if you want to emphasize the word brilliant, we say it was absolutely brilliant. But you can't use the word absolutely with adjectives that have grading. So you can't say, for example, the word good. You can say the adjective good is not extreme. It can be fairly good, very good, quite good. But you can't say, because that word can be changed with other words, it can be graded. You can't say absolutely good, right? So absolutely can be used as an adverb, but only with extreme adjectives that cannot be modified.
Speaking of brilliant, as you mentioned before, brilliantly, Norma's favorite word is, well, one of her words that she likes is star. So, of course, you have brilliant stars. If you have favorite words while we're speaking about words we like, write them in the chat. It'll be interesting to know what words you like, which words that you use a lot and that you like. Graciela's saying we call it ropa vieja.
That's the bubble, and that's the fry up. The
bubble
fried
and squeak.
leftover. In Spanish, they say ropa vieja,
Ropa
which I
vieja.
think is lovely as well.
I didn't know that.
I've heard that before, and it's
Old
fried
clothes.
leftovers. Old clothes.
So Gemma was saying before about sunrise being one of her maybe nice words and connected to sunny. The problem with me is that I'm not a morning person, and I'm not very happy in the morning. I'm usually quite miserable. It takes me a long time to wake up. I don't enjoy waking up early. However, I do love the word dusk or twilight, which is similar. And twilight or dusk, it's the time of day when the sun is setting and the light is changing. I'm usually more awake by then, so I appreciate the changing in the light. And I like sunsets. I much prefer sunsets to sunrises.
Really?
So dusk is a beautiful time of day for me. It's also the time of day when I'm relaxing, probably maybe enjoying a drink, maybe looking out at the beach. And dusk is the time of day when the light is changing and the sun is setting and it's starting to become dark. The adverb is the adjective is dusky. So you can have a dusky complexion, which is
oh wow, I've never heard that before. Yeah,
it's the kind of
dusky,
rather than a fair complexion, a dusky complexion.
It's a bit sort of darker.
It's darker. It's kind of a kind of person, a man or a woman who has dark hair, dark skin, a darker complexion. So a dusky complexion is also a word that I like very much.
Sounds sexy to me, the word dusky.
Yeah, there's probably some sex in there somewhere. If I analysed it,
it sounds sexy. Dusky. Now I'm exactly the opposite to you, Craig, because I like sunrises, and at dusk and twilight, I don't like those words.
Why not?
I don't know. I'm not a night person. I'm a morning person.
Interesting.
So yeah. And Francisca says she likes the word marvelous. Now, marvelous, I like that word too. And marvelous is one of those extreme words. So if you want to make it even nicer, you can say absolutely marvelous.
Absolutely marvelous. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's good too. So
what's your next word that you like?
My next one is a word that maybe not everybody knows this word. This is the word seething. 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 Now, I love this word. And this word actually means when you're very, very angry and you don't want to say that you're angry, you don't want to express it, or either because you don't want to, or because you feel that you can't, right? So maybe you are lost for words because you're so angry. So then in that case, you can't express it. Sometimes you don't want to express it. And this word is seething. Now, I said to you that sometimes I have images in my head of words. I see the words with an image. And for this word, ever since I've been a little girl, I've got this idea of the word seething. And it's like with your head and the steam, you know, like the steam is coming out of your ears and your skin is bubbling because you're going to explode with anger. And I love the word seething. And if I mean, I don't like being angry, but of course everybody gets angry now and again. And I'm not a person who actually fights with people. So this is very much in my personality, because probably if I get very angry, I won't express it, but I will be seething with anger.
It often collocates with resentment. I've put a quote in, or I put an example sentence in the chat. His seething resentment finally reached boiling point. Yeah, it's not a word that I particularly like. It's quite negative.
It's
to
a
me.
negative word. It
I'm
is a
giving,
negative word. You're
giving
giving it
that one the thumbs down, but seething.
I just like it because it's descriptive. I think it really captures that feeling of wanting to explode, but you can't. And I see
You're
all that
keeping it
anger.
in, keeping it
It's
inside.
sweating out of your pores, you know, in your skin. It's coming out.
That's not healthy. You have
but
to
not in words.
let it out. Yeah, as you said, Francisca likes marvelous. So we're getting some feedback from people with their favorite words. Gemma likes moonlight. Yeah, moonlight.
Oh, I like moonlight.
Me too.
I like that one.
Yeah. New, is that your favorite word ever? One of your
new
words that you like? New. Okay.
New.
And
I don't
Jose
like the
Antonio?
sound. I don't like the sound of the word new.
New.
Because it has the n and it has the y sound in it. New. I don't like the sound of new.
Comfortable with an M, probably, Jose Antonio. Comfortable. Yeah, many Spanish speakers mispronounce that word.
They put an extra syllable in it.
Yeah, it's
and
not
we
4
solo
syllables.
a
It's only
syllable.
3. It's only. Let me do. I can't do this. I can't do this on camera. So it's this first syllable that's stressed. Comfortable. Comfortable. This one is stressed. These two not. 3 syllables. Comfortable. Say it with me. Comfortable. Comfortable. It's a comfortable chair. Next, I have cheers, which, interestingly, now most of you know that when you drink alcohol, you say cheers and you touch glasses. And if you're a Spanish speaker, you say salud or something similar. But in English, you say cheers. However, that's true in American English and British English. But what we do in British English is we also use cheers to say thank you, and many other ways informally to acknowledge something. And the American English, they don't use it this way. So if Lynn does me a favor, I might say, oh, cheers, Lynn, which means thank you. Australian English, it's the same. Cheers.
That's true.
Thank you. And sometimes I even finish an email with cheers.
Cheers. Yeah.
So I do that quite often, say cheers, which is kind of like thanks, goodbye. Yeah.
Yes, I like that.
And it's also cheerful, cheery. It's a nice word. It's happy. It's positive. So cheers.
It's funny that you say that you use it at the end of an email and you say thanks, and it kind of means bye-bye, because there's another word in English, cheerio.
Cheerio, goodbye.
Which means goodbye.
That's quite maybe old-fashioned.
It's a bit old-fashioned, It's like, but it's interesting because we say hello to greet, and it finishes with an O, and we say cheerio to say goodbye. So it's funny with that O at the end, isn't it? I never thought about that.
Jose Antonio says Cheers is a good TV series. Yeah, I remember Cheers, the TV series. Yeah, at Bar in Boston, I think. That was a very good TV series. And Cello's saying, I've always liked ocean. Yeah, that's nice.
That's a nice word. It is. I like ocean. It's got the sound of the ocean, hasn't it? Of the wave when it crashes to the shore and it goes ocean. That ocean is like the sound, isn't it, of the wave crashing to the shore. I like that one. Ocean.
So Cello's obviously an English teacher, and her students know that she likes it. So every day they say it to her, and it's getting a bit annoying. Yeah, I can understand that.
I love.
You know, Eduardo, chocolate is not in my list, and I completely forgot to put it in my list. But chocolate is definitely one of my favorite words, and another word that has only
two syllables. Chocolate. Two syllables. Everybody, please. Two syllables. Chocolate. It's never chocolate. No.
It's the first one that's stressed. Chocolate.
And I have a lot of fun with the word chocolate when I do my pronunciation classes, because I guarantee that the majority of Spanish speakers always say chocolate. And I'm going, no, it's chocolate. And we do jazz rhythms with chocolate, bananas, chocolate, banana, because banana is the other word that Spanish people can never say, because you always say banana. And you make in banana, I mean, I haven't got this on the word, but we'll talk about it because it's interesting. With the word banana in English, we spell it the same as in Spanish, but in Spanish, it's got 3 A's in it, right? And in Spanish, because Spanish is phonetic, you say ba, na. So it's a. But in English, it's right? So it's banana, chocolate, banana, chocolate. So when you all go to bed tonight, you can practice in the shower. Banana, chocolate.
When you were growing up in the UK, did you ever have chocolate bananas? Do you remember chocolate bananas?
Yeah, they were little sort of sweets in the shape of a banana. It wasn't covered a banana, and it was covered in chocolate. They were nice.
Your next one, 6 and 2 3s. I've never heard this expression before.
Really? Because I bet in the South you say half a dozen of one and 6 of another.
No, 6 of one and half a dozen
6 of one and half a dozen of another. Well, in the North, we use this expression 6 and 2 3s, which means that it doesn't matter which way you do it, the result is the same. So, of course, in calculation, the number could be the number 6, or 6 could be 2 multiplied by 3, right? So the two concepts are the same. And so this little phrase means it doesn't matter. So if Craig says to me, Lynn, shall we go to this bar or should we go to this bar? I'm not sure because I like this bar, but then the other bar might be nice. And he's a bit indecisive. And I'll say, look, Craig, it doesn't matter. It's 6 and 2 3s. They both sell beer.
6 of one, half a dozen of the other.
And I think in other parts of Britain, you say 6 of one and half a dozen of another.
6 and 2
3s. 6 and 2 3s.
That's nice.
Which means it doesn't matter.
And Jose Antonio really likes your examples, Lynn. So that's a definite thumbs up from Eduardo, from Jose Antonio. And Carlos likes,
likes the word Q. I like the word Q too. I love the way it's spelt. Don't you think it's a lovely spelling? Q-U-E-U-E.
I hate it. I hate the
really?
I hate the spelling because it's difficult for students to learn, and I hate that what it represents. I mean, does anyone like queuing?
No,
British people have got a reputation for queuing. It's a national sport. I don't like I hate queuing. It's just a waste of time. So no, I'm sorry. I don't like that one, Carlos. No.
I like the spelling of that one, Carlos.
My next word that I like is serene.
Serene.
Serene. So the first E sound is eh. No, it's not.
It's
Uh,
schwa.
it's
S.
the same as in banana.
Banana.
Uh,
uh.
and the second E is pronounced longer. It's E. So it's serene.
Serene.
And serene means kind of calm, tranquility, something very relaxing. For example, you can be in a serene mood, you can have a serene lake. It reminds me of water that's very calm and very still. And I just like the way the word sounds. And you can probably notice here there's something that's repeating. The way I like the way the words sound. I like saying them. I like the way they come out of my mouth, like bubble, serene. And also the image I have, the picture, and Lynn before mentioned pictures in your mind. If you can create a connection, a picture in your mind, an image that connects the word in English that you're trying to learn with a picture, it's much easier to remember, and that word will stick. And for me, serene, I can imagine this beautiful picture of the mountains in the Himalayas in Nepal or India with this beautiful still lake or water, lovely and peaceful, and just tranquility. And that for me is the word serene. What do you think? Thumbs up or thumbs down?
I like the word serene. I do like the word serene. Graciela has said it's a beautiful, serene is beautiful as a name, but in
Yes.
English we don't use we say Serena, don't we?
Serena. Yeah. Serena Williams, the tennis player.
Exactly. So we put an A at the end and it has like another vowel, Serena. It has another syllable. But I like the word, it's different to Serena, because Serena, you've got more to come because your voice goes up at the end. But with serene, it's so chilling, isn't it?
It just
You just
dissipates.
chill,
It
it disappears. Yeah.
in meditation. Serene.
Serene. I like that.
Yeah, ever saying that, yeah, the vowels are always difficult. Yeah, they are. You just have to try to identify the vowel sounds with the words.
And Norma likes hope. Yes, I like that one too. Hope. I like the concept. I like the concept.
I like the concept, but the word for me is
hope.
doesn't really do much for me. Hope.
And Eduardo, can you put that one up? Because I just have to answer that one. You say 3 letters A and all are pronounced differently. Is that right? No, 2 pronunciations of it. So we've got the schwa, the which is the lazy sound where you don't stretch your muscles. You just say Yeah, you don't change anything in your mouth. So the first syllable and the last syllable is but the syllable in the middle is the strong vowel, and it's a long vowel. It's ah. So
are you speaking about
banana?
But I
banana.
think Eduardo is speaking about the word Abraham, because you've got the letter A pronounced 3 ways.
Abraham. I get you. I thought you were asking about bananas.
No, you're driving him. We're driving him bananas with crazy English.
Yeah, that's really good example.
You're right, Eduardo, because
you're right.
The first
3
A is A, B, C, br, and the is the one that Lynn was just demonstrating. It's called the schwa, and it's the sound that's the most common sound in English. And it's the sound when you wake up on Monday morning and you think of work. You get out of bed and it's a very lazy. It's a very lazy sound. Abraham, and the ham is the which is the same as hat or sat or cat.
Strong.
So you're right, Eduardo. The same letter with 3
very clever
pronunciations.
Abraham. I didn't know that, but that's a great example. And Jose Antonio has picked another one. Yeah, this is another tricky word for Spanish people to say, because it's like the word comfortable, vegetable, just 3 syllables.
Yep. It's not vegetable, it's vegetable.
Vegetable.
Vegetables. You must eat your vegetables. It's you now.
Yeah. I'm going to have to put a bit of a spoiler in here. You realize that we're 45 minutes in and we haven't got to words that we dislike. So I think we should take our dislike words to another episode.
Okay.
Shall we do
next
that?
time?
Because we've still got lots to go because
Yeah.
we're liking the ones now. So the next one I like is a little bit like your Serene. I like the word exquisite.
Me too. Yeah, I'll give that the thumbs up. Definitely.
thumbs
It's
up.
an exquisite word.
Yes, and it means very beautiful. Very beautiful. And again, we can be even more adventurous because exquisite cannot be graded. So you could say it is absolutely exquisite. Isn't that lovely?
Mm-hmm. And
Absolutely
I suspect
exquisite.
that Spanish speakers might find that word difficult to pronounce because there's a mixture of consonants in there. And when you get something that we call a consonant cluster, which means a lot of consonants together, like in the word crisps, for example, it's typically difficult for Spanish people. Spanish speakable. I can't
Spanish people.
Spanish people to pronounce. So the pronunciation is exquisite. There's the qu. Exquisite. It's an exquisite statue. It's an exquisite painting. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Oh, and Anna has suggested another word, and this is another one like vegetable, comfortable, literature. That's another one where we swallow the vowels. Literature. I like literature.
Me too. Literature. Difficult.
It's a difficult one to pronounce, though. Literature. Like cha-cha-cha.
Literature. Elizabeth, exquisite. Yep, that's how you say it pretty much. Exquisite. And Graciella's saying when somebody sends you to do something you don't want to do, which was...
What was that with?
There's something... Send you to do something that you don't want to do. I can't remember what the reference is for that. Anyway.
Seething? Maybe it was seething. Maybe.
Maybe. Yeah.
Okay.
So moving on to my next word, which is quite similar to exquisite. It's an extreme adjective and it's gorgeous. And
something can be absolutely gorgeous.
Absolutely gorgeous. So, you can look at an attractive woman or painting or piece of furniture or view
or
scenery.
Man. A man can be absolutely gorgeous as well.
Yeah, but I was going to say you can call them pretty, attractive, beautiful, nice. You can call men that as well. But as an extreme adjective, it's just something that you don't say very often, and you need to feel very passionately or very strongly before you use it. And you say, this view is absolutely gorgeous. And you stress that first syllable. Gorgeous. Just 2 syllables. Gorgeous.
And I like that word too, because there's another connection with the word gore. And when without the us, if you gorge on food, it means you eat it very quickly, isn't it? And you eat more than you need. It's you eat a lot because it's so delicious. You can't get enough. And so I think the adjective and the connection to the verb to gorge, which is actually... The verb to gorge is not so positive, really, because you're stuffing yourself, you're eating too much of it. But the idea of gorgeous, it's got, I don't know, it makes you feel the beauty of something, doesn't it? Gorgeous. It's like you can't get enough. You just absorb everything. It's lovely.
Yeah, it overwhelms you, and it's just too much for you. Yeah, it's just too beautiful, too lovely. We've got some comments coming in. Graciela saying, what about comfortable? We mentioned that word earlier, Graciela. Comfortable, 3 syllables.
3 syllables.
Stress the first syllables. Comfortable.
And secretary is another one.
Yeah,
Africa. Uh-huh.
I'll get to that in a second. So
Okay,
Elizabeth's
sorry.
saying, I love it, gorgeous. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorite words. Difficult word for pronounce is secretary.
Uh-huh. And some people say secretary.
Yes.
That's also
Secretary.
possible that we swallow a syllable, just like in comfortable, vegetable, secretary. Uh-huh.
Secretary. Yeah, I would say secretary. So it's the
Uh-huh.
same pronunciation pattern, Africa. So the same as comfortable, secretary. So 3
Mm-hmm.
syllables and stress the first syllable, secretary.
Mm-hmm.
Although these days you'd probably say personal assistant, PA,
Mm-hmm.
more
Well,
perhaps.
not in government. In government, the word secretary
Foreign
is a
secretary. Yeah.
foreign secretary is very. It's still used.
Mm.
In that.
Binge eating. Yep. Yeah,
That's
that's
gorge to gorge. Is when you gorge yourself with food. You're binge eating. That's another word. Well done,
binge
Eduardo.
eating chocolate. Yeah, that's my
Mm-hmm.
favorite pastime.
Mm-hmm.
Unbelievable. Yeah, that was one of my dad's favorite words. He liked to say unbelievable and
Unbelievable.
really stressing the syllables there. Unbelievable. 5 syllables, and it's the middle syllable that's stressed.
Mm-hmm.
Unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
And the adverb unbelievably good. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
unbelievable. Yep, binge watching
And you could also say
Netflix.
absolutely unbelievable, because unbelievable is also extreme adjective.
We went to a restaurant yesterday. The food was
Was
unbelievably
unbelievable.
excellent. Yeah.
It was absolutely
Absolutely
unbelievable.
unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that was me, gorgeous. And then you've got a phrasal verb next, or several
I've got
phrasal
several
verbs.
phrasal verbs. These are my favorite phrasal verbs. Now,
Why?
we've talked about these before, but pop. Pop is this explosive sound, isn't it? Like pop. It's like an. Oh, that's it. I'm glad you did that. Do it again, Craig. Go on. Oh, that sound is pop, right? Now, but we do use the word, and sometimes pop is another word as well for any fizzy drink like lemonade or Coca-Cola. They're all kinds of pop. Uh-huh. And of course, you know the word pop from pop music as well. That's pop. That's short for the word popular in pop
Pop
music.
culture.
Pop culture, that's short for the word popular. But this in the verb is something completely different. To pop, like the sound that he made, the vision of it is that it's a brief going in and going out. So if you if I go off screen, and I go right, I'm popping my head in and out, right? But I like this verb because I use it a lot when I want to visit people. So I can say, Craig, next Monday, will you be around? Because I'm in your area. I'll pop in and have a coffee.
Yeah, pop round for a cup of tea.
And then he can say, yeah, pop round for a cup of tea. Now, we can say, so pop in means pay me a little brief visit, but it's going to be a quick visit, right? And he can say, because you know that we can say, come round my house. Sometimes we use that preposition round, which means just come to my house, come round. And so you can say, pop round my house. And if you have a good sense of geography, not everybody uses this, but I have quite a good sense of geography. And I know if I'm in the north and somebody's in the south. Not everybody knows that. And, and if I'm in the north and Craig is in the south, I'll say, I'll pop down later for a drink. Or do you want to pop up and see me? So it's also to do with direction. Also, I have some friends, and where I live on top of a hill, and my friends live at the bottom of the hill. And if I'm on the telephone to them, I'll say, right, I'll pop down to see you later. Or I might say to them, do you want to pop up and see me? So you have to have a good sense of geography to use up and down. Yeah.
Also with neighbours, if you've got a neighbour who's I live in a flat and I've
Oh,
got
yeah.
neighbours up and
Above you
down.
and down. Uh-huh.
So I can say to my neighbour upstairs, hey, pop down and we'll listen to some music, or I'll pop up and have a beer with you later.
Uh-huh.
Exactly.
And I love the word pop. I like it because it's like spontaneous, just like the noise that you made. It's explosive and popped and spontaneous. So that's really nice. I like that.
It's very informal and very, very common in spoken
Mm-hmm.
English. Of course, there's popcorn, as Eva said.
Oh, that's true. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's the sound that the corn makes when it heats and explodes. It makes the pop.
And did you see what Eduardo said?
Where?
Above Ava's popcorn.
Does a bubble pop?
Bubble pop? Yes. It does. A bubble bursts or a bubble pops. It can pop too.
You've popped my bubble. You've burst my bubble. Norma likes smile, which is another lovely word. Yeah, I like that word.
Because it sounds nice, the S and the M, doesn't it? Smile. It's nice.
Like happy and sunny. Yeah. Graciela says in Argentina it was used knack and pop. I'm not sure what
I wonder what that means.
Can you explain that, Graciela? What do you mean by knack and pop? I'm not too sure what that is. Okay. My next word is pretty obvious, really, because I hope most people would agree that love is a lovely word. And you can't have too much love in the world. And at the moment, we're seeing a lot of hate, unfortunately. But you've got to spread some love. And what 3 words are nicer than I love you? I mean, those are the 3 words that everybody wants to hear.
I know 4 words that are nicer than 3.
I love you back.
Absolutely love you. And I can do 6 words. I absolutely love you. You're gorgeous.
Impressive.
Yeah, I'm combining everything now, aren't I?
I'll stay with 3. I love chocolate.
I love chocolate.
Now, your next word is curious, Lynn. Why do you like the word pour?
Pour. Well, I like this word pour because I always have difficulty when I'm teaching Spanish speakers because there isn't really a word in Spanish that means pour. Now, pour is, for example, when I put my water into my glass, right? I am pouring the water into the glass. Now, I know that in Spanish they have a word verter.
Echar.
Or echar. But for example, when you pour tea as well. Now, the act of pouring is very sort of, I don't know, it's very delicate. It's very precise, isn't it? To pour is to precise. Whereas like in Spanish, echar is like, I mean, it could be not precise, not delicate, couldn't it? And verter for me in Spanish seems to me to be also not delicate enough. And so I like the word pour because it's very precise and it's very delicate. And I like to pour the tea. I like to say, if I have a pot of tea, I like to say, would you like to pour or shall I? and a waiter pours the wine. He pours the wine.
Eduardo has read my mind because I was exactly thinking that, Eduardo. Eduardo is saying that not many people know that when it's raining heavily, it's pouring. Which means the rain is literally pouring on your head and on the street. That's a very, very common expression for heavy rain. So thank you, Eduardo, for mentioning that. It's pouring outside. It's raining heavily. Gemma likes the word flow. I like the word
I do
flow.
too.
Yeah. I like
and it's
flow.
There's an image, isn't there, of that like flow. It's like I have an image of a direction with the word flow.
I also like the word workflow. Workflow is the way you work. So you organize or you map out and plan the way you're working. That is your workflow, the way that you work on a regular basis. That's a lovely word, flow. Pour is vaciar, says Norma. Absolutely. And Heidi says that knack is nacional. or national.
National. Ah, okay.
So it was used nationally,
Really?
national and pop. I'm still not
Maybe
sure.
for the music. Maybe for the music, pop music.
Perhaps in
Uh-huh.
Argentina. Yeah,
Okay. Uh-huh.
possibly.
Yeah. That's
We have
interesting.
to move on quite quickly, Lynn, because we're nearly out of time. My next
Well,
one is
just do your last one because I love this one. I love
it's
this
a,
one.
it's a word that you may not have heard of before, and it's willy-nilly.
Hmm.
And obviously, you should know now that I like the sound of words. I like using words that I like the sound of. So willy-nilly sounds funny to me. Now, if something happens to you willy-nilly, it happens whether you like it or not. So you've got no real control over the events. For example,
Hmm.
you could say that the government were dragged willy-nilly into the confrontation. So they had no control over what was happening. And
Hmm.
there's also a secondary meaning with willy-nilly, because if you do something willy-nilly, then you do it in a very careless or disorganized way
Hmm.
without planning in advance. For example, I was packing to go on holiday, and I packed my clothes and my books and my personal possessions willy-nilly, without thought,
Without
very
thought, without care.
disorganized.
And you know where that, I'm sure that that comes from, because will is your will, isn't it? Your like voluntad, your will. And nil is zero.
Zero.
So if you have zero will, zero desire to do something properly, you just don't care. You do it willy-nilly. I
Yeah.
love that word. And it's got lots of it's got lots of meaning behind it, willy-nilly.
Yeah.
So it means to do something arbitrarily, well, it doesn't it? Or to do something carelessly.
Without organization.
Without
Yeah.
organization, without planning. Mm-hmm.
It's like, because with Hemmer's word before of flow, workflow, you could say, look, when you do something, when you're working, you need to plan your workflow.
Mm-hmm.
Don't just do it willy-nilly. Plan out what you're going to do step by step. Be organized.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Willy-nilly. And
Right. Well, don't do any more because we've got a couple. I think it's the end, and we've got a couple of things to respond to.
okay.
Carlos has asked if we can make a class, I presume, about causative verbs. We'll certainly put it on our list.
I will
You
write it
write it
down
down.
willy-nilly, Carlos.
No, put it in your workflow. Put it in your workflow, and we'll have a think about that one. And Christine has made a comment. She often confuses, I think she confuses willy-nilly
Willy-nilly
with the
with
word
dilly-dally.
dilly-dally. Oh, I love dilly-dally. Dilly-dally is lovely. Dilly-dally is when you are not in a hurry.
Hesitating.
You're hesitating. So if you're in a hurry because you've got to catch the bus, and maybe your partner is faffing around, and you say, stop dilly-dallying, come on, we're going to miss the bus, don't dilly-dally, which means don't start hesitating or taking time to do silly things. You need to hurry. Yeah.
If you're interested, because I'm from London, there's a song that's "Don't Dilly Dally on the Way." I'll put a link. I'll put a YouTube link in the chat there if you want to listen to it after we finished. You might enjoy that, Christine. Don't dilly dally on the way. Don't hesitate.
I'm
Go
getting
straight
married
there.
in the morning, isn't it? I'm getting married in the morning.
Is it? No,
I think so. And don't dilly.
Don't
dilly dally.
My old man said, "Follow the van and don't
And
dilly
don't dilly-dally.
dally on the way."
Yeah, that's right. Sorry, it's a different song.
Different song.
Sorry.
Obviously, Lynn is not from London. She does not remember her Cockney party songs. We need to have a good old knees up and put some Chas and Dave on. And don't dilly dally on the way.
Right. Well, with all of that, we have to stop now because it's 5 past. We're going to be cut off the live stream. Yeah.
We're both getting hungry. It's supper time. It's dinner time here in Spain. So we want to thank you for spending time with us. We hope that's been useful. And we're going to save the words that we dislike the
for next
horrible
time.
words for 2 weeks when Lynn will be back and we'll speak about words that we really don't like.
Yeah.
So before we go, we'll just remind you where we're from and how you can get in touch with us. I'm Craig from mansioningles.com, and on this website you can find free courses to improve your English. You can also buy courses if you're interested in paid courses, and there's lots of free material as well for you to enjoy. And if you are studying for the B2 First, the Cambridge B2 First exam, on the 4th of April, there's going to be a 30-day course that I'm starting that you can join. If you're interested and you want to take the exam, go and look at the information in englishmasterclass.net, and everything is explained on the website.
Okay, and finally, I'm Lynn. Putitlikethis.com is my website, and I'm an online teacher. So if anybody's interested in doing online classes with me, go to my website and you can find out what kind of classes that I offer. Okay, right. So I hope you had fun. We had a lot of fun tonight, didn't we?
We did. And as Christine says, ta-ta. So ta-ta for now. Ta-ta, which means goodbye. And we'll see you again soon. Take care.
All right. Bye-bye. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.